Using the 2024 Motorola Razr Plus, I have quite a few thoughts to unpack here. I didn't expect to enjoy this phone as much as I do. I definitely like it more than the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 I recently reviewed also, and we'll get to specifically why I prefer the Razr Plus here in a minute, but Motorola really delivered this year on a solid flip style smartphone that I believe many will love. If you're looking to pick up a foldable here in 2024, don't let this slip by you without at least giving it a double take. Maybe it's the pure nostalgia of Razr and Motorola for me, or maybe it's just this sweet hot pink colorway, but let's dive into more of the details now in terms of why I really like the Razr Plus this year and why I think it's a pretty solid device if you're in the market for an upgrade or you're currently interested in a foldable. Again, stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. All right. For starters, and right off the bat here, why do I like the Razr Plus more than the Flip 6? Well, it's this cover display. Motorola absolutely crushed the cover display here. In terms of software, you not only get full access to your apps and apps that you can customize, but you get really great widgets from Motorola. You get a lot of solid options in terms of customization as well. As you can see here, I have mine pretty much fully customized to work for me and my everyday use, but just tapping here on the display, you have a lot of options to customize this cover display to your liking without having to go into separate apps like with Samsung, where you have to get Good Lock and you have to go into labs to enable a lot of similar features, but it's just not quite there yet on the Flip 6 or the Flip series, whereas Motorola has just continued to own the market here. You can easily access things like Gemini and AI, so that way right at your fingertips, right out of your pocket, you're able to utilize AI, and then you're also able to easily use any apps right here on the cover display with ease. I use mine a lot for Starbucks, for Waze, for directions, for accessing my vehicles, whether it's my Tesla or Jeep, my home app, the calculator. I use this cover display a lot. It's very productive, and just overall, I'm very impressed with what Motorola has done here on the Razr Plus and this cover display specifically. If you're looking for a flip style phone, this is the one to get simply just for this cover display alone. Of course, that 6.9-inch inner display is pretty great as well. I have enjoyed using that when I need it, but it is just so nice that this cover display is actually usable and keeps me productive throughout my day without having to go into my pocket, open up the device every single time I need to use it, like I experienced on the Galaxy Flip 6. This is the Flip for me. Now, in terms of the hinge design and the overall build of the Razr Plus, Motorola also delivered here with a really solid build. If you look all around this device, it is pretty seamless. It looks great all around. It's durable. I don't use a case on any of my devices, and this is holding up quite nicely so far. I haven't had issues with dust or debris or anything getting here in the hinge. And speaking of that hinge, you can flip and fold and close this thing as hard as you want. Again, with foldables, going back to a lot of my videos, you don't have to baby these things. While yes, they are a little bit more sensitive than say a normal smartphone, these are still quite durable, and a lot of the companies like Motorola here are doing a great job at building a solid flip device. I also like the soft back material that Motorola went with. It doesn't slide off tables or anything, and it also feels great in the hand. It's just overall a very premium feeling device here with the Razr Plus. Of course, since this is a folding style device, you will have that inner crease here on the display, as to be expected since it is, well, a foldable device. It needs a foldable, flexible display. It doesn't get in the way of usage, but I do want to point out that it is still there here on that Razr Plus, so expect to see that crease there in the middle, but again, it won't hinder any of your actual use throughout your daily usage. Now, in terms of performance, Snapdragon is here on deck, and it keeps the phone blazing fast. I haven't had any issues in terms of the performance. I haven't had any hiccups, stutter, or lag throughout my use. And to be honest, I don't game a lot, but I have played a handful of games here just testing it out, and it's been pretty smooth. Multitasking, work, anything for personal use, it handles everything you throw at it very well, and I haven't had any reason or issue to call out any type of performance concern while using this device. One thing I do wish is that that cover display was a little bit less reflective and a little brighter for outdoors. As you can see here in direct sunlight, you can still see it, but The inner display, on the other hand, is very reflective, and even at max brightness, you really can't see the inner display in direct sunlight that well. So that's really my only gripe in terms of these displays. I do wish they were less reflective, and I also wish they were a little bit brighter, but again, that cover display is still quite usable. Content consumption on the Motorola Razr Plus is pretty solid. Speakers are also quite immersive, and everything sounds pretty good when you're watching anything on this device or listening to music. I also like that I can flip, fold, put this in different orientations so that way I can watch some content either on the go while I'm working, and then you can still watch on that cover display if you really wanted to. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the cameras. The inner selfie camera, I barely use that. I use the outer cameras for pretty much all photos, all video. I've rarely used that inner display camera. The camera quality, video quality, it's all pretty good. I just wish the ultra wide camera was here on this version of the Razr. For some reason, Motorola left that off this device and included it with the cheaper Razr. So if you want the ultra wide camera, you're going to have to get the cheaper Razr this year. Now, in terms of battery and charging, the device does charge pretty quickly depending on the supported charging brick that you use. So the faster the charging brick you use, the faster it's going to charge, of course. There's also wireless charging, but I do want to note, since it is a flip style device, depending on like your vehicle or wireless chargers you have, you might have to move it around a bit until you actually can find where it aligns for that wireless charging. Call quality is excellent. Like many Motorola phones, I had no issues with drop calls or connectivity issues, and everyone on the other end said it sounded great. All right, so anyways, that's the Motorola Razr Plus 2024. Again, this has to be easily one of my favorite devices here in 2024. That cover display, it keeping me productive and being absolutely usable in comparison to the Flip 6 is awesome. And just all around the build, the software, I like pretty much everything here about this device. One of my biggest frustrations with this device, and one of the main reasons it's so hard to recommend Motorola devices, is because of the lack of consistent updates. It's really frustrating that Motorola does such a poor job at keeping their devices up to date. Software updates, for a lot of people, maybe it doesn't matter. For me, it's a pretty big reason to go with many other Android options. It's just really frustrating to see, especially for a device that, you're paying like nearly $1,000 for. It'd be really nice if you could keep that device up to date and keep using that device, knowing that it's supported by updates that will give you some longevity out of your device. At least solid, consistent updates for like 3 years. That would be great to see, Motorola. And I wish that's something that you would improve long term here with these Razr devices. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the Motorola Razr Plus 2024. Again, I really like this device. A lot of positive things to say. Let me know your thoughts, though, of course, in the comments down below. As always, thank you for watching. Take care and stay safe.